English grammar. The indefinite articles a and an. When to use a or an. You use the indefinite articles a or an to modify singular nouns that do not indicate something specific or that is a particular member of a group. Examples: I would like to buy a dress. You aren't referring to a specific dress, like the red dress you saw in the store's window. You want a dress, but you haven't decided on a particular one. Somebody call a doctor. You aren't asking for a specific doctor, like Dr. Jones. You aren't asking for a cardiologist or a particular type of doctor. You are asking for any doctor and for any person who is one. I really want an ostrich for my birthday. You aren't specifying a particular ostrich, like Herman the ostrich, nor are you asking for a particular breed, with animals that have breeds anyway, like cats or dogs. A or an modifies singular nouns. You only use the indefinite articles a and with singular nouns, never with the plural. Examples: a boy is walking down the street. One boy is walking down the street, not two or more. I am having an egg for breakfast. I am eating one egg, not two, not three, one. But some boys are fighting on the playground. You are talking about two or more boys, which makes the subject boys plural. Therefore, you do not use a or an. Every day I eat 2 eggs for breakfast. Two or more of something makes it plural. Therefore, you do not use a or an in this sentence. When to use the indefinite article a. You use it before nouns that begin with a consonant. B, C, D, F, G, J, K, L, M, N, P, Q, R, S, T, V, W, Y, Z. You use it before a vowel if it sounds like a consonant. This usually occurs with the vowel U and sometimes with E. There will be examples of these later, folks, so hang in there. You use it before H if it is pronounced and not silent. You use it before adjectives that begin with a consonant, with adjectives that have a vowel that begin with a vowel that sounds like a consonant, and with adjectives that that begin with an H that is pronounced. Examples of using indefinite article a. A kitten is sleeping on a red towel. There is only excuse me, folks, I just noticed that you're not seeing the whole picture here. Okay, there we go. There is only one kitten and one towel. You are talking about a kitten in general terms. You aren't being specific, like saying it is Mary's kitten. You also refer to the towel in a non-specific way, not mentioning an owner or its use, like it's a kitchen towel. You're not saying it's Bob's towel. You're just saying it's a red towel. So it's very general. She goes to a university. Normally you use and before vowels, like you. However, the vowel U often has a consonant sound. It sounds like the letter Y. When this is the case, you use the indefinite article a. notice in university, university, it has a Y sound. So we use the indefinite article a. A horse is grazing in the field. The H in the word horse is pronounced and is not silent. When a H is pronounced, you'll notice by the sound ha, ha, horse, horse. A black puppy is sticking out his tongue. In this case, the adjective black begins with a consonant. Therefore, you use the indefinite article a. France is a European country. The adjective European starts with a vowel that sounds like the consonant Y. European. It sounds like it starts with a Y instead of EU. This one's a scary picture, isn't it? A huge spider is on the man's face. The adjective huge has an H that is pronounced and is not silent. Huge, huge. When to use the indefinite article an. You use an before nouns that begin with vowels. A, E, I, O, U. You use an before a noun that begins with a silent H. As before, I'll say we'll have some examples of this later. You use an before an adjective that begins with a vowel. You use an before an adjective that begins with a silent H. For those of you that are not clear, nouns are a person, place, or thing. Adjectives are usually descriptive words for a noun. Like, for instance, cat is a noun, but black is an adjective. So if you said a black cat, black would be the adjective, noun would be or cat would be the noun. You use an before consonants that sound like vowels. For example, X-ray. X-ray sounds like it should begin with an EX, but it doesn't. And did I mention that you use an before an adjective that begins with a silent H? Well, we'll get into that. That's what the problem is when I interrupt myself. Examples of when to use the indefinite article an. I saw an elephant at the zoo. Elephant begins with a vowel, so you will use an. You have to wait an hour after eating before going swimming. The H in hour is silent. Notice it's not hour, it's hour. Therefore, you use an. Note that an hour equals 1 hour. He is an old man. The adjective old begins with a vowel, so you use an. Abraham Lincoln was an honest man. The H in the adjective honest is silent. Therefore, you use an. Notice it's not honest man, it's honest. He is getting an X-ray. The consonant X in X-ray sounds like it begins with a vowel, EX. Therefore, you use an. Both sentences are correct. Normally, the H in historical is pronounced in English. However, since many people pronounce the word with a silent H, this has become acceptable. Whether you use a or an before this word depends on whether the H is pronounced or not. The election of the first black president was a historical occasion. The H in this sentence was pronounced. Therefore, you use the indefinite article a. The election of the first black president was an historical occasion. In this case, the H was silent, and so you use the indefinite article an. Compare the pronunciations. H is pronounced. Historical. H is silent. Historical. 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 The election of the first black president was a historical occasion. The election of the first black president was an historical occasion. If you pronounce the H, then use the indefinite article a. If you pronounce it with a silent H, use an an. The two words, it's actually, sometimes when you're speaking quickly, it's really kind of difficult to tell whether the H is pronounced or not. And normally you only have to worry about this when you're writing. So if you don't really notice too much of a difference here, don't worry too much about it. Other uses for the indefinite articles a and and. They indicate membership to a larger group. Examples of this is nationality. Okay. Nationality, a vocation, religion. In some languages like Spanish, you don't use this, their equivalent of a or an when you're saying your vocation. Like if you're saying I am a doctor, you don't say yo soy un doctor, you say yo soy doctor. But in English, we do use the a and an when we're talking about our vocation. O'Malley is an Irishman. Now, if you just said that O'Malley is Irish, you would omit a or an. But because you're saying he's an Irish man, you use Irish in this case is more of an adjective. And in this case, then you would use a and an. I am a doctor. As I said, in English we do use indefinite articles with our vocations. Maria is a devout Catholic. This is saying that Maria is a member of a group of Catholics. And the vocation, I am a doctor, I am a member of a group called doctors. And O'Malley is an Irishman. O'Malley is a part of a group that are called the Irish. They are also used with counting nouns. A counting noun is a noun that can be counted. Unlike something like water, which can't be counted unless it can be put into a container. There's a lot of examples of non-counting nouns. You know, water, sand, air, you know. But with things that can be counted, like a bottle of water, then you use a and an. As a and an can only be used with singular nouns, there must only be one of an object or person. I want a hamburger. This is saying one hamburger. And I'm not saying I want some hamburgers. I'm saying I want a hamburger, one hamburger. A hamburger can be counted, therefore you use a or an. Teresa is eating an orange. Orange, it's one orange, not oranges. So she's not eating two or more oranges. She's only eating only one orange. So we use the indefinite article. And because orange begins with a vowel, you use an. And hamburger had an H that was pronounced, so you use a. Pop quiz time. Feel free to go back if you need to review if you're still confused. Fill the following sentences with a, an, or dash if a or an is not needed in the blank space provided. The correct answer will follow in the next slide. Notice though, if a or an is not needed, I'm not going to write it with a dash. I'll just, the word will be omitted. Okay, ready? I want to buy gifts for my family. You do not need the indefinite article a or an in this sentence because gifts is plural. Remember, you use the indefinite article with the singular only. So if I had said, I want to buy a gift for my sister, I would have used it. But because I was buying more than one gift, it was plural, so I could not use them. I need a vase for the flowers. Vase begins with a consonant. Therefore, you would use the indefinite article a. The clown is riding on a unicycle. Even though unicycle begins with a vowel, the U sounds like a Y. When a vowel sounds like a consonant, you use the indefinite article a. Notice in this sentence I'm saying that the H is going to be pronounced with a silent H. The Civil War was an historical event. When historical is pronounced with a silent H, you use the indefinite article an. If I had said the Civil War was a historical event, historical being pronounced with a heavy ha-ha sound, even if you don't quite hear it, you would use indefinite article a. But in this case, I was going kind of right to the I. The Civil War was an historical event, so we use an because the H was silent. Dr. Gonzalez, oh, sorry, this is the quiet one. Dr. Gonzalez is an optometrist. You use indefinite articles to show membership to a group, such as vocations or, your career. Since optometrist begins with a vowel, you use an. This bird is called an egret. You use the indefinite article an before words that begin with vowels. In this case, egret, which begins with an E. Remember, this is a trick question. Pierre is French. Though this identifies Pierre as a member of a group, you would only use the indefinite article if French was used as an adjective. So let's try the next one. Maria is a Spanish woman. In this case, Spanish is used as an adjective. You use the indefinite article a. If the sentence had been Maria is Spanish, then the indefinite article would have been omitted. And back to the last slide, if I had said Pierre is a French man, we would have used the indefinite article a in that case. But because we just said Pierre is French, we omitted it. I am having eggs for breakfast. Remember that you only use indefinite articles with singular words. Eggs is plural. If I had said, I am having an egg for breakfast, meaning one egg, then I would have used an. But since I'm having 3 eggs for breakfast, I omit it. Alvin wants a hula hoop for Christmas. You use the indefinite article a when the H is pronounced in a word. Hula hoop. I didn't say hula hoop. I said hula hoop. Hula hoop. Okay. And in this case, the H is going to be pronounced. The Gettysburg Address was a historical speech. When the H is pronounced, you use the indefinite article a. This is another tricky one, folks. I ordered a water. It is assumed that in this case a person is asking for a bottle of water or a glass of water, even if the words for these, even if the word bottle or glass was omitted. Bottles and glasses are counting nouns, and therefore you would use the indefinite article a. I need sand to build my sandcastle. Sand is not something you can count, and therefore it is considered to be a non-counting noun. You don't generally use indefinite articles with non-counting nouns. A black cat is considered to be unlucky. The adjective black starts with a consonant and therefore requires the indefinite article a. This is an X-ray machine. Even though the letter X is a consonant, in the word X-ray it sounds like it starts with a vowel, EX. Therefore, you need the indefinite article an. This is a xylophone. The X in the word xylophone sounds like a consonant, Z. And so you use the indefinite article a. This is an ill person. The adjective ill begins with a vowel. Therefore, you use the indefinite article an. He is a mailman. The indefinite articles are used to show membership to a group. A career is a part of a group. Since mailman begins with a consonant, you use a. Mark is a Buddhist. Mark belongs to a group called Buddhist. Therefore, you use the indefinite article. And you use a because Buddhist begins with a consonant. They are Buddhist. There. Remember, you only use the indefinite article with singular nouns. A singular noun equals one person or one object. The pronoun they indicates 2 or more. Also, the word Buddhist is plural. As this sentence is plural, you do not use an indefinite article. And that concludes our slideshow. I hope this is helpful. This is my first English grammar video. I don't know if some of the words didn't get cut off, but I learn on the way, and I guess eventually it'll be a good idea to get one of those things that record directly off the desktop. But anyway, I hope this clears up when to use a and stay tuned for more videos. Thank you.